everyone, welcome back. If you're planning on applying for a visa for the UK or you've recently applied for one and you've been rejected or heard of rejections, you are not alone. Today we'll be discussing some of the common reasons for visa refusal or rejection in the UK and what you can do about it or avoid it. I'm Ashika, and on this channel we talk about moving to the UK or pretty much any country you dream of working or studying in. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it, and with that, let's dive in. One of the most common reasons for visa refusal is incorrect or incomplete documentation. Here's the unfortunate thing. If you make a mistake while you're applying for your application and you hit that submit button, there are no backsies. You cannot go back and make any of those changes once it's been submitted. And it can be small issues like you haven't filled out your name accurately, or it is the wrong passport that you've uploaded, or you've uploaded incorrect documents. Like take for instance when the young professional scheme was announced, and remember I had made this video on how to apply and the whole process and I documented it. Well, despite that, a lot of people wrote back saying that they made mistakes while submitting their applications. Now, it could also be falsified or tampered with documents where you think you're smart and you do a little Photoshop, or documents that have been falsified and are not actually accurate, and you have this guy in the shop who can replicate them and make these duplicates. So it's really crucial to read through the instructions that are on the application page and understand what all documents are required and how you need to fill them out and what you need to submit. If required, even make a checklist if there's no checklist available, and make sure you have every single one of those documents by going systematically and checking if you've put them all in. Missing out on even a single document can lead to a refusal, and here's the thing. Even before you hit that submit button, ensure that you have reviewed every single page multiple times. Next, financial insufficiency is a really big cause for visa refusals. The UK immigration authorities need to see that you have sufficient funds to maintain yourself while you're in the UK without having to rely on public funds. Now, the reason why they ask you to do this is because they want to ensure that you're perfectly capable of taking care of yourself and your family members when you come to the UK, so that you have sufficient funds to do that. Because truth be told, the UK is honestly tackling a huge problem of illegal migrants, which then put a strain on all the government resources. Now, you can prove that you have sufficient funds by showing your bank statements and your pay slips, and even fixed deposits in your bank account count towards this. So make sure you provide clear and fully accurate financial statements to prove that you will have no financial issues in the UK. Next up, you need to prove that you have a genuine intent when it comes to applying for a visa to visit the UK or live or study in the UK. If the immigration officers suspect that you do not have genuine intentions while applying for this visa, they will outrightly reject your visa. The thing over here is that if they feel that the reason why you're visiting the UK, the reason is not clear, they're going to assume that you probably have no intentions of going back, that you're going to overstay your visa, which is why they're not going to give you one in the first place. Now, one of the ways of checking this is they will see if you have any financial commitments or family ties in your home country to assure themselves whether you'll go back or not. If they feel you've wrapped up everything in your home country, there's a very high possibility that they will assume that you're actually planning on moving here and not going back. They'll also check the reasons that you are giving them as to why you want to move to the UK, and then they'll cross-reference with what you've told your sponsors and see if there are any discrepancies or changes or differences between the two. This will help them understand if you plan on returning on the expiry of your visa or not. So what you need to do is clearly outline what your plans are going to be in the country, give supporting documents to prove that that's actually going to be your plan, and explain it in a very elaborate and thorough manner. Now, like if you're planning to apply for a job to work in the UK, you need a sponsor, and your sponsor will have to give you a COS or a certificate of sponsorship. And this is especially important if you're applying for your own visa. If you apply for your visa with the wrong COS number, number one, your visa will get rejected. Number two, your sponsor could get fined. And number three, their sponsorship license can be revoked. So for anyone who is being sponsored, any issues with your sponsorship letter is a massive red flag. You need to ensure that the letter has all of the necessary details, it's signed, and your sponsor meets the financial criteria for this. Any inconsistencies in sponsorship information, visa rejected. The same goes for the SOC or the Standard Occupation Code. If you include the wrong SOC while applying for your visa will be rejected. Next, your previous immigration history plays a significant role in getting a visa accepted or rejected. If your visa was approved in the past for the UK, obviously it's going to get a little easier. But if you've had your visa refused in the past, it is not a given that it will be refused again this time. So it's important for you to address all of the reasons why your visa was refused the previous time and ensure you meet all of the application requirements this time round. Next, and this is a very important point, If you either overstayed your visa in the past, or you were or are an illegal entrant into the UK, or you breached your visa conditions like being self-employed when you were on a student visa. All of these reasons can lead to visa refusal, and it honestly depends on when these incidents occurred and your caseworker. Everything is in their hands. Another common reason for visa refusal is having a criminal history. And this includes involvement in illegal activities or being a security concern. And obviously this includes any incidents that might have been in the UK or outside the UK. Not all jobs require you to have no criminal history, but some jobs which are more sensitive in nature, like working with children, would definitely require you to not have any criminal background. But irrespective of whether your job requires it or not disclosing it in your visa application can be a very, very big reason for refusal. Now, if you plan to take your spouse or your partner along, or you yourself are a spouse or a partner and you're applying for your visa along with the primary visa holder, proving that your relationship is genuine is honestly the difference between getting your visa accepted or rejected. You need to prove to the Home Office that you're genuinely together and that this is not just a union of convenience. Marriage cards, for instance, are not sufficient evidence to prove that you are together. The marriage needs to be recognized. So if you've had a church wedding or a Hindu wedding or a Muslim wedding, right, which has not been registered with your government, I would suggest that you do it immediately. You are also allowed to move to the UK with your partner, so you don't necessarily have to be married. But you have to prove that you have been together for the past 2 years in a genuine relationship and that you have been living together. So for this, you would need to show some sort of proof like utility bills with both of your names on it. Now, the bottom line is that it's really important for you to understand the reasons for visa refusal so that you can avoid all of these problems, right? But what do you do if your visa has now been refused? Luckily, you have a couple of options. The first one is you can apply for a judicial appeal if you feel the decision to refuse your visitor visa was unlawful. If it's a visitor visa, you can also apply for a UK visitor visa refusal appeal, which has to be under humanitarian grounds, which probably won't be the easiest process. Or you can reapply for a UK visitor visa if you made a tiny mistake that you can easily correct. Or you can apply for a different visa that you're eligible for. And here's the thing, if your visa has been refused in the past, it would be a good idea for you to get some sort of professional help if you want to apply again. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Now, if you need any help filling out either a skilled worker visa or a student worker visa, you can watch either of this, which has an entire detailed tutorial video on what you need to fill and how you need to fill it. Until next time, thanks for watching.